morning, depending on what part of the world you're calling in from. We want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening. We appreciate your valuable time. And we're so very excited about what is happening at CoolTrader Pro. In the last 10 days, we have gone international in now 11 countries, and it's because of the tremendous leadership in our industry that has joined our company in a very, very short amount of time. Although our company's been around a long time, we're going to give you the details of that and this tremendous technology. And tonight, we have our founder on the call, and I'm going to be very, very honored to introduce you to him in just a moment here. And I hope that everyone's had a chance to take a look at the legal disclaimer that was up for about 15, 20 minutes prior to the call. And good evening. My name is Sunil Wadhwa. I'm the co-founder and president for CoolTrader Pro. It'll be my pleasure here this evening to give you a very clear, concise overview as to where we are, where we're headed, and what's in it for you. This is a very exciting time for this company because, as I mentioned, and the story will be shared with you here tonight, this company is not a new company. This is a time-tested product technology. The company's been around now for 7+ years and has marketed this phenomenal technology in 40+ countries. But we're so excited because we're now taking this into one of the most brilliant business models that exist in the business world, and that being multi-level marketing. And we'll get into more of those details here in just a few minutes. But first, I'd like to introduce you to our international master distributor team, Maurice Walker, Lou Prescott, Peter Speech, Jason Cox. These gentlemen will help you expand your business on an international basis. But more importantly, we are in a search for you. We are on a search for what we are calling international founders, and there's a huge incentive. In fact, I'll give you a little quick teaser. We have literally $24 million that we hope to pay in 125 days. When we officially soft launched our company just last week, November the 9th, from November the 9th through March the 13th, 125-day blitz to our international convention, our first international convention, March the 15th, we literally have $24 million on the table for you as you come on board with our company and expand your business on an international basis. We'll get into a lot of those details here in just a few minutes, but first we'd like to share our history. I'd like to share with you the founders of our company. We have two brilliant guys that are the founders of this company, Kerry Flanders and Nick Roush. These two gentlemen have been in the world of entrepreneurship and the business world now for 45 years combined experience. And unbeknownst to them, they're actually running on similar tracks, and they became partners a couple of years ago. They've been friends for about 8 years now. And I will tell you, and many of you on this call will appreciate what I'm about to say, as leaders in our industry, we have traveled to many, many management teams out there to kick the tires, so to speak. And frankly, some of you have traveled with me, and I've traveled with you to a lot of these companies over my 25 years. And we've come back disappointed. We've come back disappointed because we just didn't feel right about the management team. They didn't seem to have the experience level. They didn't seem to have the ducks in a row, so to speak, and we came back again very disappointed. Well, when I met these gentlemen a few short weeks ago, I instantly knew that these guys were the real deal, and they are the real deal. They are doers. They're on a track to take this technology worldwide with all of your help, all the leaders joining our company. And I absolutely know that they always want to do the right thing for the customers and the associates. And with that, I want to thank them for what they've done in a very, very short amount of time. And let me turn the call over now to Mr. Kerry Flanders, our CEO and founder of CoolTrader Pro. Kerry, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Sunil, and thanks, everyone, for being on the call. And before I get started, I would like to thank you, Sunil. I mean, we've been going for 10 days now, and it's been great. I mean, we've been moving strong for 10 days, and thanks for everything you've done. I mean, you've really got us organized, going on getting this focused, and us, you know, the three of us really want to say thank you for helping us there and all your hard work.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, well, my name's Kerry Flanders. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CoolTrader Pro, and what we're here to talk about tonight is the software CoolTrade. And how I like to start out the call is give a little history about the man behind CoolTrade, Mr. Ed Barsano. And Ed's story is fascinating. I really do believe there'll be a book about Ed Barsano in a few short years about his life. And just a quick history, Ed was born and raised in the inner city of Chicago, and at age 19, he decided to join the Navy to become a man, and they put him into data processing. Well, quickly when he was in the Navy, they realized this wasn't your normal recruit into the Navy. This guy was a genius. So they got him into data processing and started doing some programming, and the Navy sort of groomed him for the next step in his life, which is he started working for the government after he had an honorable discharge from the Navy. Well, while he was working for the government, again programming for them, he was in a room, and he jokes and he says, "This is where I got my MIT education." And I said, "Well, how'd you get your MIT education? You're in the Navy." Did they send you there? And he goes, "No, I was in a room for 2 years with, back then, Lieutenant Commander Bryant, who was an MIT graduate. And for 2 years, the two of them programmed the Naval Nuclear Work Management System for the government. 10 binders worth of code, which is millions and millions of lines of code. And for 2 years locked in this room, he remembers pretty much everything that Lieutenant Commander told him. And Lieutenant Commander Bryant, by the way, turned into Admiral Bryant. So he ended up going all the way through the ranks, so a very intelligent man as well. But that's how Ed, he got his MIT education. So everything Lieutenant or Admiral Bryant knew, Ed Barsano also at that point knew. Well, as he is working with the government, Microsoft, and this is back in 1987 when Microsoft was still just a one-building corporation, not the giant. I wanted to know, hey, we need a short list of top-notch programmers for the DEXVAX. And if you don't, for you usually don't know what the DEXVAC is, it's like the IBM mainframes. And Ed was considered one of the top 5 programmers in the United States, if not the world, on the DEXVAX. So Microsoft asked for Ed to come on in on an interview. And it wasn't your typical interview. When he first pulled up, he thought he'd be there for about 45 minutes to an hour, like most people go on an interview. Well, he got in there, and he starts going at Microsoft and saying, well, why would you do that? You program like this, or you go like this. And a little bit of a battle with the guys internally. And, so he's thinking as he walked out, 6 hours later, and his poor wife is in the parking lot for 6 hours, probably wondering what happened to her husband. Did they kidnap him or something? But 6 hours later, they're walking out of the room, and Ed's thinking, oh, boy, sort of maybe a little too intense with those guys. And then one of the Microsoft executives go, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't work for us anyways. You did great, and they hired him. So quickly at Microsoft, he did his job on the DEXVAX and realized that personal computers, the PC, were the wave of the future. So quickly got on a PC team and then was promoted to project manager and then eventually up to a department head. At Microsoft then for 9 years, running different departments within Microsoft as they grew, he made millions of dollars and decided 1995 came around, was he happy? Was it time to continue to work at Microsoft after he'd made millions of dollars? And the answer was no, because back then at Microsoft, and I'm not sure if they do it today, but back then, Ed would tell us, you check in Monday morning at 8 a.m., you check out Saturday night. Maybe be able to spend a little bit of time with your family, but you're probably sleeping the rest of the time, because some nights you wouldn't sleep or you'd sleep on your floor. It was just nonstop working at Microsoft. Just they worked you. But he had made millions of dollars. So he retired. Well, then for the next 5 years, Ed being retired, doing what you do when he's retired, he can go into more on that if he likes, his wealth continued to grow, and it pretty much doubled. Then the crash of 2000 happened, and millions of dollars vaporized in a matter of just months. And what it did is it woke up a sleeping giant, because Ed didn't like being retired. He's not cut out to be retired. He's a project guy. He's got to be doing something, and I think he was probably going pretty bored being retired doing nothing. So he decided, and this is after talking to people after that crash. A lot of people really got hurt. And he's like, I was listening to my brokers. I was like everybody else. I give them my money, and they're telling me what to do. I'll put money here, put money there. But one thing he remembers is the market was crashing. He was still buying. And everybody he talks to was still buying. He's like, well, if everybody's buying, why is the market still crashing? So then he realized, well, it was probably because it was us against the institutions. So he said, you know what? I'm going to level the playing field. I'm tired of being retired. It's not for me, so I'm going to automate the stock market. And, of course, people are like, oh, you can't automate the stock market. Well, 5 years later, and roughly 5 million lines of code later, he automated the stock market and released the first version of CoolTrade. And it's the world's only fully automated stock trading software, meaning literally it can pick the stock, buy the stock, and sell the stock 100% on its own. You do not have to be in the room. It doesn't send you alerts. It doesn't send you emails. It doesn't go beep, 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 and you log in and make the trade yourself. It literally does everything for you. You can be on vacation. We have many clients who are on vacations all over the world, and their software's trading their portfolio. Well, back then he was giving it to everybody. He was that was his vendetta. Hey, here, take it. We're going to level the playing field for the rest of America. Well, TD Ameritrade got a hold of a copy, and they were like, this is amazing. They were just fascinated with it. Like, this is the real deal. How do you do this? We've been trying to do this. In fact, they said, you're about 7 to 8 years ahead of us, probably 30 to 40 million in developmental costs ahead of us. And that's today. Well, where are you going to be when we catch up to you 7 to 8 years from now? So, long story short, I believe they tried to invest in him, and he decided, no, I'd rather just stay on my own. So they worked out another deal, and TD Ameritrade agreed to let the software connect to their clients' accounts, and it's still that way to this day. So if you have an account, say with TD Ameritrade, the CoolTrade software will connect directly to your account and trade it. That is that simple. It'll connect to your account and start trading the software. So then after that, more brokers started calling. Interactive Brokers, E-Trade, Trade King, Options House, Options Express, MB Trading, FXCM, and that's the list of our broker partners. But that's the quick story about Ed Barsano, about how CoolTrade came to be. And when the book comes out, I'm sure it'll be a lot more detailed, and there'll be some juicier parts in there about his days at Microsoft. But it's a great story. I mean, you couldn't make that up. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Nick Roush, and he's going to go a little more detail about our program.
Thanks, Gary, and thanks everyone for joining us this evening on a Sunday night, and folks all over the world, welcome. And first thing I want to tell you is very early on in my business career, I learned that it is all about being in the right vehicle at the right time.